Welcome back to the Elite Ball Knowledge Podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about each NFC team, my read on them, and where I see them in comparison to the contenders and the pretenders, and how I think their season is, has been, and where they are now. So let's get into it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and enjoy the video. Starting with the Rams, who are at first place in the division. I think that they are the best team in the NFC. They clearly have everything going for them on both sides of the ball. Jared Verse has blossomed into this amazing defensive player. They have Cameron Kitchens. They've been playing well on all levels of the defense for sure, run stopping, and definitely the pass defense has been playing out of their mind with Kobe Durant there as well. And I think their offense has been playing out of its mind too. Puka Nacua was one of the contenders for 2,000 yards until JSN broke out, and before his injury, Puka Nacua was number 2 in the receiving yards ranking. So I think he's doing a very good job. The addition of Devontae Adams in the offseason really shores up their offense even better because Devontae Adams is producing like he did back on the Packers. So it's really good to see. It's really fun to watch the Rams offense, and I think there's a certain point in time in the season where you can watch a team and then you can understand whether they're going to the Super Bowl or not, or they're going to win it. And I think it was like that with the Eagles last year, where they would just dominate their opponents and they'd find new ways, new creative ways to win. Like Saquon Barkley would take control of the game, except now it's Matthew Stafford and Devontae Adams, or Matthew Stafford and Nacua, or Matthew Stafford and whatever tight end he wants to throw to at any given week. So I think that the Rams are definitely the Super Bowl contenders out of the NFC, just because, I mean, they pulled off one of the fastest rebuilds I've seen, and they weren't even supposed to be rebuilding. They just won a Super Bowl, and they've come back, and they're contending for another one because they've been so good. I think Matthew Stafford, we weren't even sure if he was going to play this season because of his back, but now he's an MVP candidate, probably one of the front runners. So I think the Rams, everything is clicking for them at the right time. So I do think if they didn't win it last year, they're going to win it this year because they've been playing out of their minds, both sides of the ball. And when that clicks, like all the previous contenders of the past few years, it's looked good for those. And I think just based off the eye test right now, which I see the Rams play, they're dominating in every which way possible. They've played the hard opponents. They've played all the easy opponents, and they've still looked the same. They still look the well-coached, well-oiled machine that they have throughout the whole season. So I think that they are the Super Bowl contender out of the NFC. Next up in second place for the division in the NFC West is the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I'm going to start out right here. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team yet, because I think the line might hinder them from getting there, because defense wins championships, and when a good defense comes up against that Seattle offense, I think Sam Darnold's going to get pressured. You'll see the ghosts again. He'll throw picks, and he'll cost them the game. That's what we saw in the Rams versus Seahawks game, where Jared Verse came after Sam Darnold, and Darnold threw 4 picks. And that was a game that they almost won, partly because the defense kept them in there, holding the Rams only to just barely 21, 22 odd points. And Seahawks were allowed to stay in because of their defense. Their defense is definitely there as a team. I just think that their offense and Sam Darnold will not get them to the promised land, because when Sam Darnold feels a little bit of pressure, he'll crumble. And we saw it on the Vikings the last 2 weeks against the Lions and the Rams, and we'll see it again. Come playoff time, if there's a team with a good enough defensive line, like let's say it's Seahawks-Packers, I don't know what it would have to be to get there, but let's say it's Seahawks-Packers, Micah Parsons is going to have a day, and then Sam Darnold's going to get flustered, and I don't think the Seahawks will win. The Seahawks have probably one of the best wide receivers in the league. Sorry, not probably. He is. It's Jackson Smith and Jigba, and he might even put up 2,000 this season, but I don't think that they will win a Super Bowl as long as the line is where it is. I think they just had Gray Zabel gone for injury. That's not good. He was their guy. So I think if they can shore up their line, they'll definitely see a Super Bowl in their future. But right now, I only see them as a contender or a playoff team, someone who could maybe give the Rams a run for their money, but I don't think they'd eventually do it unless they make some changes. Next up, I want to talk about the 49ers, number 3 in the division. They're a good team, I think, for what they've been going through the whole season and all the injuries and everything. They've exceeded so many expectations. It's already better than last season, and I do think that they can maybe be contenders because of the way they play. Whenever you lose faith in them, you think the injuries are going to get to them, finally bring this team down, they win a game, and their defense looks amazing, even though it's taken most of the hits, and their offense has backed it up occasionally. Like now Brock Purdy's coming back. So, I mean, he's back, but he's coming back, back to his vintage form. I think they're a team that can make a run, but I don't think it's going to be a deep run. I mean, obviously history repeats itself, and the 49ers have made it to the NFC Championship game a lot of times. I just don't know if it'll happen again because of the injuries, but I do think that they'll make the playoffs for sure. They'll definitely make a run, but I do think that it will be tough for them to go far, especially with all the injuries. But if Fred Warner could come back like he said he will, and if Bosa can come back, I think definitely the 49ers have a chance, but it's not going to be a Super Bowl year. That's pretty much been acknowledged by all the injuries. But I do think that when they're healthy, they're a great team. They could even be a Super Bowl contender, just like the Seahawks if they have a decent line. So really 3 teams out of the NFC West could be Super Bowl contenders. It's just this year the Niners have a lot of injuries, and the Seahawks are just missing one guy on the line, offensive line. That's it. And the Rams are already there. So on to the Cardinals. I don't want to mince too many words, but I will say it I will scratch that. I'll say everything. They are bad. They're bad at football. They are not well coached. I think their defense could be very good because Philly's old defensive coordinator, Gannon, he was good when Philly went to the first Super Bowl against Mahomes. So I think he got a few pieces that he might want to use, especially Walter Nolan. Walter Nolan's looking like a good return on investment. I think it's just the offense. Definitely Kyler Murray needs to go. They need to find a quarterback. They need to find an offensive coordinator. And they need someone else other than a defensive-minded head coach to take over the offense. Because right now they are not looking good. They need to get another receiver to pair with Marvin Harrison. But either way, they are not good. And they need a lot of work in the offseason. Whether it's firing Jonathan Gannon or firing Kyler Murray, they need to let some pieces go and do a whole shakedown of the team. Now we're going to do the NFC North, featuring the Packers, Lions, Bears, and Vikings. So I'll start with the Vikings right here. Minnesota is not going anywhere. They suck right now. It's partly because of 9. J.J. McCarthy, that's his name, 9. He's not playing good. In fact, he's being compared to Jamarcus Russell. And I saw a graphic where Zach Wilson was even being compared as better than J.J. McCarthy. So I think this is technically his rookie year. He didn't get a full rookie year. He was taken out by injury. So I think one more year with J.J. McCarthy, then you determine if you're going to get rid of him or not. But it's not looking good. Suffice to say, he has Justin Jefferson. He has Jordan Addison. I think any competent quarterback who's had enough experience could ball out in that offense. Even Trey Lance, now that he's been fixed, could play well in that offense. So that's one. Next up, we have the Packers. They're playing well. I think the acquisition of Micah Parsons did numbers for them because now their defense is extremely dominant. Jordan Love, even when he plays finicky, his defense will back him up. I just want to see Matthew Golden shine out more. So Matthew Golden, I think he'll start to break out later in the season, and I think that will really propel the Packers into championship contenders. But right now, I have them at the contender spot because they play well, they have a good record, and they are dominant. It's just they make stupid mistakes that cost them games sometimes, especially against the Browns. But I do think that the Packers can go far in the playoffs, especially. I think divisional round and higher. I just think they maybe just need to get Jordan Love tied tightly, like how Aaron Rodgers was. when he won the Super Bowl. So if Jordan Love can really tighten up, I think the Packers can make a deep run and even contend for a championship. Next up, we have the Lions. I think the Lions are just a good team in general. I don't think that they're bad. I don't think that they're good. I don't think that they're contenders, but they are a good team. I think they have all the pieces necessary. I think they just need to find a coordinator because Dan Campbell is not doing well as coordinator, and they sorely miss Ben Johnson. So I think the Lions definitely they have all the abilities they can to make a run. I think we saw it in 2023. We saw it in 2024 when they made the number 1 seed. So it's definitely possible for them to play well and play good. They just need to lock in, get some more, tighten up on the offense. Their defense, I think, is fine. Aiden Hutchinson's came back to form, and he's playing very well. So I think, again, it's just the offense. If they can, Jared Goff, their coordinator, it's just all unclear right now. It's murky. If they can clear it up, I think that they could be contenders or playoff, like a solid, deep playoff team. But right now, they're just good. They might make the playoffs. They're a fringe team. If not, they'll get wild card round exit. But either way, it's like that. I don't think that they will go that far into the playoffs, even if they make it. Next up, I have the Chicago Bears. I think the Bears are the biggest frauds, one of the biggest fraudulent teams in the league, because the way I see it, they haven't beat anyone noteworthy. Yeah, they just beat the Eagles, but the Eagles are having a lot of struggles right now. Their offense coordinator is not doing good. Jalen Hurts is not doing good. A.J. Brown is not doing good. And Devontae Smith is not doing good. Saquon's not doing good. No one is doing good on the Eagles team except for their defense, and even then, they're not doing good. Like, they gave up a 21-point lead the week before, and realistically, everyone who hoped the Eagles were going to win would be disappointed. The Bears are just beating down on teams that are not good. I think it was kind of like the Lions last year. It's kind of like the Vikings last year, where they would play good against bad teams, and then you'd see this mirage that they are a good team, when frankly, they're not. I think the Bears have not played anyone noteworthy. I think when they come to play the 49ers or any other contender teams, that's just off the top of my head on their schedule. I think when they play the Packers again, the Lions again, they will get exposed because they are not a good team. Last time they played the Lions dropped 50 on them. So they're definitely not a good team. They beat the Commanders. Oh, it's the Commanders. They have all the injuries possible. Jaden Daniels is basically on his way into turning to RG3. Debo's not in prime Debo form, and McLaurin is out of shape because his negotiations. It's not a big deal. And then who did they beat last week? Well, they beat the Eagles just now, and then they beat, I don't even know, because they're not noteworthy. They're not good. So they just beat down on bad teams and expect to be considered a good team. They're not, even if they are the number 2 seed, it's going to be the fastest number 2 seed exit of all time in the playoffs, I think. So they deserve to be in fraud tier. So yeah, that's the NFC North. And I do think that by far, right now this season, it's the Packers who are the best team, because the Bears are not a good team. They're frauds. The Lions are not playing as how we are used to seeing them, and the Vikings are just bad. Next, I want to talk about the NFC South. I do think that the Buccaneers are definitely contenders. Well, playoff teams, definitely for sure, because they've been playing good. They have the division on lock. Once Emeka Egbuka gets healthy again, Baker Mayfield gets healthy again, Bucky Irving gets healthy again. Once their team gets a little healthier by the time playoffs start, or the matchups come down to determine playoff spots, they will definitely be one of the better teams in the league. They were one of the best teams in the league when Egbuka was healthy. Baker was definitely healthy. And against the Seahawks, we really saw how good their offense could be. And they're definitely a good team. I just think that they just need to healthy up a little bit more. And they can't lose the division to Carolina. Carolina's been up and coming on and off, but they can't lose 2 more games, and they cannot lose the division to Carolina. Absolutely not. So, I mean, yeah, that's just where they stand right now. And speaking of Carolina, I think that they've definitely been a surprise for this season. They are an okay team because when Bryce Young plays, I mean, he's either okay, good, or bad. And most of the time he's bad, but most of the time he's good too. So it's kind of a 50-50 split. But when we don't expect anything out of Bryce Young, he plays like prime Tom Brady. But when we do expect something, like against the 49ers, he throws picks and he does not perform. So I think there's just he's definitely looked better each and every year that we've seen him. I think last year was kind of, okay, Bryce Young, he started to heat up at the end of last season. Let's see how he goes. And then now he's starting to turn into the guy that they drafted. He just needs a little bit more around him. I keep saying this, but he does have a lot around him. But maybe just a little bit more. I think he'll definitely get there. He has all the abilities to get there. And Rico Dowdle is playing amazing for them. He looks like a star. So the Panthers are an okay team. Another okay team I have this year is the Falcons. And this comes as a surprise because the Falcons weren't looking too good for the past few weeks. But in my mind, I saw them as okay because their defense was playing well. Raheem Morris is a defensive-minded coach, so I don't know why he's calling plays, but he's still a defensive-minded coach. But Michael Penix Jr. was looking like the guy they drafted. He wasn't looking horrible, and he wasn't looking bad either. He was looking okay to good in that scale. He wasn't looking bad. And I think that the way he was playing, and he just needs another year, one more year, and the Falcons will be maybe even a good team next year. But right now they're okay. Their defense is young. Their offense is a little young. Give it a year. I think the right amount of development, they will be good. They will be ready to compete. And I think Raheem Morris just needs an offensive coordinator. And that's it. And then the Falcons will really tie together like the other teams that just need a little bit of time. And they'll be good. Last team I want to talk about in the South is New Orleans. And they're just bad. Nothing more to say. Need to find a new good player on every position on the roster except for wide receiver 1 and defensive tackle and Demario Davis and Kool-Aid McKinstry and Alvin Kamara. Those guys are fine. Maybe Taysom Hill is safe too, but everyone else needs to get a roster revamp because their team is full of holes and even Flex Tape couldn't cover that mess. So yeah, the Saints are definitely not good at all. Definitely need a draft, maybe even John Mateer or Dante Moore. So yeah, they need a lot of new players on their team, and Kellen Moore just needs a lot more time as a head coach for sure. So those were the standings in the South. Now let's go to the NFC East, and this is also a fun division because the Eagles might choke it away. But as of now, I do see the Eagles as kind of fraudulent. Because they are looking horrible in every aspect of the ball. Like I said against Chicago, which is not they draft well. Both the teams actually draft well. I don't understand what's going on. But with Chicago, it's a different side of the coin. They haven't played anyone noteworthy. They need to play someone good and win against them, and then we can take them seriously. What Philly is doing is completely different because they just look so disjointed. For a team that won the Super Bowl last year, they should not look disjointed. And a lot of talk around the league was Eagles are going to repeat because they just got even better because they got Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips looks good. Their defense is fine. I think the Philly defense is fine except for against the Cowboys in the second half. But I think they need to get back to how they were playing last year because I don't understand what they were doing. Maybe it was Kellen Moore and his absence. But they definitely need to find an offense coordinator. And that's really going to be the hot commodity this offseason. Eagles need an offensive coordinator. Falcons, Lions, all these teams need an offensive coordinator. And it will drastically change their franchise. I think the Eagles could have went back-to-back if they had kept Kellen Moore. If Kellen Moore hadn't left, they would have went back-to-back. For sure. They would have been the best team in the league. Again, they would have beat the Rams in the division. Next up are the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys, Jerry Jones has actually astonished me because he's been making good decisions. I mean, I won't say the Micah Parsons decision was good, but the George Pickens one was good. The Quinnen Williams one was good. The Logan Wilson one was good. So their defense is playing good right now. George Pickens is looking like the best top 3 wide receiver in the league. And Dak is looking good. Their coaching is looking good. So everything is looking good for them. I will say they just need to win more games. And they've lost some games that they shouldn't have lost. They've tied a game that they shouldn't have tied. But I mean, wins. Just keep stacking wins. But they're the Cowboys. So I don't want to say they're frauds because they'll be fraudulent until proven not fraudulent, I guess. But I mean, we can't just keep the Cowboys in there because they've been playing well. Pickens has really revitalized the team in Arlington. So I think definitely they need to pay the man. I think they also need to reevaluate what happened with CeeDee Lamb because he's not been playing as good. But I think Pickens is, as for now, is the wide receiver one, and they got a gold mine with that trade. So Jerry Jones really struck the oil well, and I think he's done a great job. The Cowboys are just a good team, but I do think that they are maybe a defense away from being a contender or even a Super Bowl team. I hate to say it, but they might be. And I mean, Jerry Jones has been doing a great job. A lot of people criticize him, but this time around, this cycle, he's done a great job. So I got to give props to him. I got to give props to Dak, and especially to George Pickens, because they've been playing out of their mind. Last two teams are the Commanders and the Giants. Both of them suck. And I think with the Commanders, it's more of injuries because Laramie Tunsil is their guy at the line, but they might need more linemen. Debo is not as good as he was. McLaurin has been out of shape because he held out. Daniels is basically RG3 at this point because of all the injuries. So I think they find a way to protect Jaden Daniels, and they'll have another NFC Championship run, 12-5 season like they did last year. But now that teams have film on him and the line is letting more people through than ever, the Commanders are not a good team, especially they have a lot of holes that need to be fixed, especially with protecting Jaden Daniels. But I think that's just their main problem. Their defense was fine. The defense will be fine. They could draft another defensive lineman in the third round because Dan Quinn is a defensive mastermind. So they could just do that and then sign a bunch of offensive linemen. And they have a lot of cap space too. So I think we shouldn't worry about the Commanders, but they are still a bad team. And they will still be bad for the season until proven good next season. And the same thing goes with the Giants. Jackson Dart looks like their guy, and I'm happy that the Giants have their guy. They also have their guy at running back after losing Saquon Barkley. They also have their guy at receiver, and Wan'Dale Robinson and Malik Neighbors, so they're good on the offense. They just need a line to protect them. I mean, I don't know how good that will be unless they wear guardian caps for Scat and Dart. And then they just need a defense. So I think firing Dabble was not a great move because he was looking good. I think it's just injuries that really took out his team. I don't know who's going to replace him, but they need to find someone with a strict regime and good management flair. Because I think Joe Shane, whoever that guy is, up top, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He has to go because he let Saquon go. But I think they could get they could get the front office revamped, the coaching revamped, and they'll be a good team. Maybe just draft a lineman, and they'll be fine. Because that's it. The way I see it, both the Commanders and the Giants have been injured a lot. The loss of Scadaboo and Neighbors and Daniels, and that's pretty much, and Eckler, and all these guys, they take a toll on the team. I know it as a Niners fan. But once these injuries come back, once they come back the next year and they find a way to keep them healthy, they'll be good teams. So I'm not worried at all about those teams. The teams I am worried about in the bottom tier are Minnesota, are New Orleans, and are Arizona. But I think Minnesota is more safe out of all of them. Again, these rankings are subject to change, of course. I think good teams could move them to contender. Contender could move down to good. Okay could move down to not fraudulent, but okay could move down to not good at all. And fraudulent could move up to Super Bowl team. So, I mean, obviously this stands a lot to change, but this is just my take on each team in the league. Well, the NFC side, AFC will be coming soon. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I think we just need to see how the rest of the season plays out. And I want to thank you guys for watching the Elite Ball Knowledge Podcast. You guys are studs. You guys are ball knowers. And thank you. Drop a like, subscribe, follow my Instagram. That's it. Bye.